Today I'm making honey chipotle glazed marinated chicken. I'm also going to show you how I make an easy cilantro lime rice with simple black beans. This is actually my third time making it this week. It's so good. Here we go. So I'm starting off with 3 chicken breasts that I'm going to score. I'm going to do like this crosshatch on the top part of each chicken breast. And like I stated earlier, this is my third time making this chicken this week. It's so good. The first time I did meal prep for my husband and son. The second, we had it for lunch. Today, we are having it for dinner. I'm going to work on the marinade. So here I'm working with 12 fluid ounces of beer, your choice. And if you don't want beer in your marinade, then add the rest of the ingredients to the chicken. It still works. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze in 2 large limes right into my measuring cup. And a lot of the ratios are to your preference. If you want it less tangy, start with 1 lime. I'm going to add lemon pepper. This is salt-free. Here I'm adding some granulated garlic powder. I will put the measurements in the description below. I love to use Montreal chicken seasoning. Here I have granulated onion powder going in. Here I'm going to add jugo de Maagi. This is a seasoning sauce that I like to use in marinades. I'm going to add around a tablespoon of cooking oil into the mix. Now I'm just going to combine and whisk this well. And you'll want to give this a taste and adjust the salt and seasoning to your preference. Okay, so I have all of my chicken in a freezer bag and I'm just going to pour the marinade in. The ratio of this marinade that I've created goes great for about 3 to 4 pounds of chicken. This is all I'm working with today. So I'm just going to press out most of the air, seal this up, and place it in my fridge to marinate for at least an hour. I'm probably going to let it marinate longer because I have things to do. And with this, you don't want to let the chicken breast marinate past 2 to 3 hours because it might break down too much. Okay, so for the rice, here I have a preheated pan with cooking oil. I've just added 2 cups of rinsed long grain rice, and I'm going to stir, combine continually to allow it to become fragrant and golden in color. So once I've toasted my rice, I'm working with 2 scallion whites, and I don't have fresh cilantro today, so I'm going with dried cilantro. This is just one of many ways I make this rice. I use what I have. Okay, so my rice is fragrant. I'm going to add the dry cilantro and the 2 scallion whites. I'm going to give that a mix. And at this point, you could add a teaspoon and a half of salt. I'm going to go easy on the salt, and I'll just sprinkle some once it's done. But like I said, if you really want to season or salt this, go for it. Okay, going in with 4 cups of water. Give that a quick mix. And another thing that you could add at this point is the zest of 1 large lime. I did not do that today because I didn't want to zest lime. So I'm going to cover it with the lid. I'm going to crank up the heat to bring it to a boil. Once it's like this, I'm going to lower the heat and let it simmer for about 18 to 20 minutes on a low heat. Don't lift the lid. So I'm going to work on my black beans. Here in a small pot, I've added cooking oil. Now some fresh onion going in. I'm going to saute that to make the oil and everything in the pot aromatic. And here I'm going to add cooked black beans. These are not pre-seasoned. They were just boiled and cooked and stored. I have some in the freezer. These were thawed in the fridge. So I added some granulated onion powder, some granulated garlic powder going in. I'm also going to add salt because, like I said, these were not seasoned or salted. Here I'm going to add a little bit of chicken bouillon powder into the mix. I also added extra water because these beans didn't have much liquid left. Here I added some smoked paprika. I'm going to give this a mix and let it simmer and cook for about 10 minutes or so. Okay, so my rice is done and I'm going to add the fresh ingredients. I have parsley, fresh parsley that I chopped, and the green tops of the scallion. It's time to lift the lid, and I'm just going to add my fresh ingredients. First, I'm going to fluff the rice. Now, like I stated earlier, if I had fresh cilantro, I would just add it at this point. But I'm going to go with my scallions and parsley. And now I'm going to shake in some salt, Like I stated earlier, the amount of salt or seasoning is to your preference. And now I'm going to add the juice of 1 large lime. And like I said, you could totally add the lime zest to this. It all works. This is what I'm working with today. After adding the lime juice, I'm going to just combine and fluff the rice. And this is done. Everything smells so fragrant and it complements this meal perfectly. Okay, so here I have my chicken breasts that have marinated for about 2 hours, maybe a little longer, and I am putting these into a preheated pan with cooking oil. You could also grill these, but it's hot outside, so I'm cooking it on the stovetop. So I'm just going to let these cook through, and I'm probably going to flip them several times in the pan until done. Once my chicken is done, I'm going to remove from the pan and place it to the side on a baking sheet to rest. So I'm going to glaze my chicken breast in honey and diced chipotle peppers in adobo sauce. And this is what I'm using to glaze these marinated chicken breasts. So now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the diced chipotle peppers right into the pan. And you see the liquid that's in the pan? That came from the chicken. And that fond, it's just going to add flavor to this glaze. So I'm just going to sort of add the other tablespoon like this. And I'm going to sort of move it around, saute it to pick up some of the fond and give this a head start. And now I'm going to add the honey. The ratios, you could do equal parts honey to chipotle peppers, maybe 2 tablespoons of each works. I added a little extra honey, but it really is up to you. I'm going to lower the heat because I don't want it to burn, but I do want it to bubble and sizzle. Okay, so as you can see, everything is foamy and bubbling. This is the perfect time to add the chicken back into the pan and start working it into this glaze. And I'm just going to coat it on both sides. Kind of flip it around, move it around, and let this kind of simmer and sizzle for a couple of minutes, and then it's done. So once I remove the chicken from the pan, anything left in the pan, I'm pouring right over my chicken breast. And I'm going to let this rest, and then it's time to eat. So I'm going to make a plate. This is another family favorite, so I'm going to add the rice to the plate. By the way, there are so many toppings to this. This actually would be a great base for like a chipotle style chicken fajita bowl or something because it's so flavorful. Here I'm going to add my sliced chicken breast right on top. And like I said, garnish how you like. I'm going with fresh avocado. I'm keeping it simple today. And this is dinner. And I love this. This is definitely going on a weekly rotation. It's so good. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it. And thanks for watching.